So, does this mean a wake-up call for exporters to shift their focus from heavy reliance on the US to a broader network as a cushion to the steep tariffs? Or does the export ecosystem need to look at an alternative strategy in order to overcome this challenge? Members have been anxious on the uncertainties in the recent past and want to understand the way forward. With this objective, this interaction has been organized with Dr. Ajay Sahai, DG and CEO FIEO. I now request Mr. Yogesh Gupta, Regional Chairman, FIEO Eastern Region, to deliver the welcome address and share his opening remarks, please.
Thank you, Devdatta. President FIEO, Shri Ralan Sir, Vice President Shri Ravikant Kapoor Ji, DG&CEO Dr. Ajay Sahai, other managing committee members, fellow exporters. Good morning, and thank you all for joining this very, very important discussion today. Many exporters from my region had been calling me often and almost on a daily basis that what is going to happen with this US tariff war, which they have come out with. This is almost like a war, a trade war. And I found it right to organize this event for all of us to understand our perspective, because we really cannot understand the perspective of Donald Trump. So if we can unite ourselves, and then we might be able to think alike and move forward in a similar fashion. Two major immediate impacts that I see from this high tariff is major loss of price competitiveness and market erosion. The prices have really gone uncompetitive, and all our US orders are being cancelled or delayed. And the orders have also shrunk. Many of the export-oriented MSMEs who are exporting to US, their establishments have come into a danger level, and a lot of unemployment and financial losses have been observed. Eastern region, if I talk about Eastern region, tea, jute, textile, garments, marine, leather, all the sectors have been affected very, very badly. This 25%, although it was a little bit affordable by the US customers, this 50% tariff is not at all acceptable to them. So the orders are getting away. We are really now navigating in a rough river with no direction in sight. And this will lead to a lot of disruption in our MSMEs and other exporters out of India. What we need immediate countermeasures to withstand this financial turmoil before we can find some alternative markets and a way to move forward. We really need to come together and find some solutions from our side. I'm really happy and thankful to Dr. Ajay Sahai for accepting our request to come to this meeting, an interactive session with all our exporters to understand our pain points and to guide us how to go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I request Mr. S.C. Ralan, President FIEO, to kindly share his remarks, please.
President is muted. So can you please unmute yourself?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody. Well, 50% tariff is one of the biggest blow to the Indian exporters exporting to US. Basically, actually, as a whole, this is going to affect on the overall performance in the country. But still, we are unable to find out what is the solution. Some people, they try to compromise with the customers. We like to know. Actually, we have tried to request the time from the Nirmala Sitharaman ji and DC Ayog also. So at the FIEO level, we are doing the best. But at the moment, nobody is giving the time, probably because they are busy. But today's meeting actually is to find out the other views, what we should do. We want your guidance. What are the, see, look at it, to get the monetary benefit from the government is looking a bit tough. But anyway, we would like to listen from all the members what they have. Sometimes everybody has a new or good idea, so we'll try to follow that and inform the other members also. So we formed a committee, high level committee also, under the chairmanship of uh, Rafiq Bhai. He refused because he was very busy. He was to go to the, just to look into the matter and give a suggestion, concrete suggestion, what the FIEO should do for the good of the, for this solution and for the good of the exporters who are exporting to US. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. Ravikant Kapoor, Vice President FIEO, to kindly share his comments, please.
Good morning, everybody. Mr. President, sir, Mr. DG, sir, Mr. Gopal Gupta, Yogesh Gupta. Things are very difficult. I mean, let's not make any bones about it. Things are really very tough right now. There are several ways of looking at it. As far as our government is concerned, their feeling is that it is hardly 1% of their GDP, so it's something they can take in the stride. And out of that 1%, at least half of that is already exempted material, so that will still go to the US. But our real concern is that the people who are directly suffering, whether they are apparel, whether they are leather, whether they are gems and jewelry, chemicals, and so many others, the thing that is happening on the ground for them, the decisions they have to take, and the answers that they have to give, it is not an easy task. It is challenging them literally on a minute by minute basis. I get calls from the same people asking again and again, as if some kind of paranoia is set in. Things are difficult. We are dealing with powers which are beyond our control. And it is something that we have to find some solutions or come to terms. The main thing is it has happened so quickly. Nobody was prepared for it. And in fact, we were of the impression that we are going to get a good deal. Just before the 7th of August, we would have had the agreement signed. But in fact, that was not to be. Well, whatever may be the reasons, I think everybody is clear that we really have to be finding solutions based on diplomacy. That is, I think, the first thing required, because there's no amount of discussion that we are going to do or or give any arguments. All our arguments are right, but the person who has to hear them, is he listening? So we are in a difficult situation. I hope our diplomats and politicians can find some solutions out of all this. Though S&P today comes out and says it won't affect the Indian economy much, but I don't agree with those kind of statements. We have to see the pain on the ground. I would leave it for this discussion to start with DG and CEO and make the presentation, and look forward to what he has to say about our way forward. We have several theories, but I think we would listen to him with some facts, and then we will go ahead with what we would like to say. Our biggest challenge is our competition. It's not a matter of whether it is 10% or 20 or 50. It's a matter of competition that is hurting us when our neighbors and others are getting very good rates. 15% for the EU, including their most favored nation a tariff. It is something that really bothers us. So let's see what is the way out. Asking for small concessions I consider it small in the matter of the big thing that has hit us, like saying, okay, we will take IES and we will take MAI and all that. It's not going to solve our problem. You can take a few thousand crores. This problem is running into tens of thousands of crores. And more than that, what are we going to do from today and tomorrow? Thank you, Mr. DJ, sir. I will look forward to your discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Ajay Sahai, DG and CEO FIEO, to kindly address our participants today along with his presentation. Over to you, sir.
President FIEO Shri S.C. Ralan, Vice President FIEO Shri Ravikant Kapoor, Regional Chairman Eastern Region Shri Yogesh Gupta, my past Vice President Mr. Khalid Khan, distinguished members of FIEO, exporters, ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank each one of you for agreeing to be available at this platform at such a short juncture because we are going to deliberate on an extremely important subject, and previous speakers have probably given the broad perspective of that. The objective of my presentation is to explain the facts. What are these tariffs, where we stand, what are the transitional arrangements, what are the rules according to needs to be adhered to, how our exports is being impacted, what is the situation of our competing countries, what could be the possible solutions for that. And I think we will be gaining much more from the feedback which we will be getting from our members, because we have to fine tune our requests before we submit to the government. We already have a round of discussion with Chairman of the Export Promotion Council and the distinguished members of the FIEO board. And those suggestions have been captured and will be displayed during the presentation also. But we will be much more inclined to hear more from you so that we can fine tune the presentation. Countries are definitely looking into providing huge support. In fact, Brazil today has announced a export credit package of $5.5 billion to support their exports. And probably, as told by the Vice President, we have to look into much substantial support, as the margins which we will have with our competing country is much more. With a view to make America great again and address the issue of a rising trade deficit with many of the partner countries, Mr. Trump ushered in an era of tariff war. He has announced reciprocal tariff on countries ranging from 10% to as high as 50%, in utter violation of the WTO principle of the most favored nation, where you have to have a uniform tariff on all the countries except with the countries with whom you have the free trade agreement. With high tariff, he wants the US manufacturing to be protected. He wants the US investment elsewhere to flow into the US. He wants foreign countries who are right now exporting to the US to look into the investment route rather than the trade route, or alternatively, provide more market access to US product by entering into a free trade agreement or the bilateral trade agreement, so that the issue of trade deficit to a large extent can be addressed. And in the whole process, he is looking into creating more jobs into the country, as this was the promise which he has made during his various speeches also. He also is looking into that the surge in the customs duty may be used to provide more direct tax benefit to the taxpayer in the US. A large number of taxpayers with income of around $2 lakh per annum are likely to get a steep income tax benefit also. But in the process, he is denying the basic tenets of the globalization. In globalization, goods and services move to the most competitive country, and that's the theory of comparative advantage. US may be able to protect the employment in high technology sectors, but if they are looking into to come as a replacement to India, China, and many other countries where wage arbitrage lies with those countries, probably it will be a fall. To what extent the Liberation Day will be a true liberation or doomsday for the US, I think only the time will tell. In the short run, some of the economic parameters are definitely coming as a green shoot in US economy, but most of the parameters are showing that the US economy is not doing well despite so much high tariff that Mr. Trump has imposed on that. And we have seen that in the various announcements, he has taken a step forward, two step back, and sometimes two step forward, one step back. He basically started with this on 1st of February, where the first time he imposed 25% duty on Mexico and Canada and 10% duty on China. That was basically to curb the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigrants. Immediately 2 days thereafter, he provided 30 days pause. Then on 10th of February, he raised duty on steel and aluminum to a flat 25%. He was looking into the steel production in a big way, as one of the US company was likely to be sold to the Japanese company. He again put a 25% tariff on imported car and light trucks on March 26. But the major announcement which was proclaimed by him was with regard to the baseline tariff of 10%, significant high tariff on 56 identified countries. And you may recall that on India also he has put 26% duty, which was 50% of the 52% duty, which could have come into effect. But then immediately after that, after a week, when he saw that the US Treasury market is collapsing, he provided a 90 days deferment to these duties, but at the same time, 10% reference duty that came into effect, and that is continuing for all the countries, even the countries who are not covered in the now reciprocal tariff. With China also, he initially imposed 104% duty. Next day, he increased it to 125% duty. China also hit back with similar duty on the US. He started negotiating with many countries on the free trade agreement. In fact, India was one of the first countries who started the negotiation with the US. We expect the negotiation will be completed by the fall of 2025. That means by September, October. UK was the first country to click a deal with the US, and I think they got the best deal in respect of many products, because UK products will now be allowed into the US at 10%. 10% is the minimum duty. The US-China entered into 9 days truce to start with, where both sides agreed that they will be imposing only 10% duty on each other, though of course with 20% fentanyl duty. The duty on Chinese product is 30%. This duty was supposed to expire on 12th of August, but on 12th of August, they have again deferred it by 90 days. China has much more leverage with the critical minerals and magnets at the disposal, and that's why US is providing them more cushion. In the meantime, some of the companies have moved to the US courts also. The lower court has decided against these tariffs, but federal appeal for temporarily, they have allowed the duties to continue. We have to see what finally comes out in the court cases. We are of the view that we should also use Indian diaspora to look into the legal option which can come into the way. On 3rd of June, he increased the duty on steel and aluminum to 50%. He entered into a kind of bilateral deal with Vietnam, and the duty on Vietnam, which was 46%, was brought down to 20%. He, for the first time, brought the concept of the transshipment duty also, levying 40% duty on transshipment for Vietnam. He entered into a deal with Indonesia, brought the duty on Indonesia to 19%. He has a deal with Japan now, where Japanese products will be allowed at 15% duty. He has an agreement with the European Union also, where they will have a 15% duty on all products, including MFN. That means for European Union, minimum and maximum duty, including MFN, will stand at 15%. On 30th of July, he imposed a 25% duty on India and 50% on Brazil. But for the Brazil, on aircraft, energy, and orange juice, he provided the exemption also. He finally struck a deal with South Korea, where South Korean products will be allowed at 15%. On 1st of August, he put a 50% duty on copper pipes and wiring also. But I think the biggest setback came to India and many other countries when he informed tariff between 10 to 41% on 69 trading partners. On India, he imposed a tariff of 25%, which has come into effect from 7th of August. He also removed the de minimis value of $800 to allow a small value shipment. Initially, this was done for China and Hong Kong, but now he has decided that from 29th of August, this will be applicable to all countries. It will definitely hit e-commerce export from many countries to the US. For India's trading with oil with Russia, he imposed an additional tariff of 25% on India on 6th of August. And as we discussed on 11th August, he extended the tariff rules with China for 90 days. So out of these 69 countries, when we looked into some of countries who are in the neighborhood, who are our competitors, this is the situation. Bangladesh, which used to have a very high tariff, is now having 20% tariff. Brazil for certain product has 10% tariff, and for most of product is having 50% tariff. European Union has a 15% flat tariff, India at 25%. Indonesia, Malaysia, most of the Southeast Asian countries are at 19%. South Africa is a country which is having high duty of 30%. South Korea has already worked out the duty. Switzerland has been hit badly with 39% duty because Switzerland exports a lot of gold, and Switzerland surplus with the US in last financial year was $48 billion. But the irony of the matter is that even with high tariff which he has imposed in the first quarter, itself Switzerland surplus with the US has gone to $54 billion. Because people are moving to gold as a safe bet, and a lot of gold is getting imported from Switzerland. With Taiwan also is having 20% duty. With UK, as we discussed, he has a 10% duty. So by and large, if we are looking into our competition with the countries in South Asia and Southeast Asia, the differential duty between India and India and these countries around 30%. Where European Union, UK or Turkey is our competitor, the difference is around 35%, and rightfully in many of these sectors, or for that matter in most of these sectors, such hike of the duty cannot be absorbed by the industry. I think we require support from many fronts. Or except these countries which are listed here, that means 69 countries we are talking about where there is varying reciprocal tariff, including 10% tariff. All other countries will have just reference tariff of 10%. In the recent notification, he has hit on the transshipment, and transshipment will be subject to a minimum tariff of 40% or the country-specific tariff. So if any transshipment takes through India, it will be subject to 50% tariff. On China, as we discussed, the effective tariff remained at 30%. That means 10% reference tariff plus 20% fentanyl tariff. If by November 10, they are not able to take a final call, then the tariff will be increased to 54%, which will include 34% reciprocal tariff and 20% fentanyl duty. Now, it is important to understand what is the rules of origin, because everything will be dependent on rules of origin, as we are not having any preferential trade agreement with the US so far. And the US rules of origin are different than the non-preferential rules of origin in India. In India, even if packing, repacking is done, we consider as a kind of manufacturing, and we provide the rules of origin certification for that. For US, if we are talking about the situation where the product is wholly obtained, that means the product is either grown in India or the product has the raw material inputs component all from India, there is no issue. It will be considered as wholly obtained in the country of India, and it will be allowed to meet the US rules of origin. The problem is that if any part, any component, any inputs comes from a third country, then the issue of substantial transformations comes. And substantial transformation in US laws have been clearly defined. It means a fundamental change in appearance, nature, or character. And there are illustrations which will define also. It also talks about a significant value addition also. This will differ from product to product. While this is the general definition of substantial transformation, please bear in mind for a specific product, US also has specific rules of origin, non-preferential as well. For example, if you are talking about the cotton yarn, there may be yarn forward rules applicable. There are other products also which are subject to specific non-preferential rules of origin also. Now, just to give you an example, for example, if somebody is like taking sugar from a country A, flour from country B, milk from C, and then nuts from country D, take it to country E, and where he manufactured the biscuits. Since separate ingredient has been substantially transformed, this will be considered as substantial transformation. But let us say a fresh vegetable grown in different countries are brought to a particular country, IPO of technique is applied for frozen vegetables and then it is exported, it will not be considered as substantial transformation, and therefore these will not be considered as a product of that particular country. Similarly, packing, repacking, dilution with water, small process will not consider as substantial transformation. Certain kind of assembly or disassembly may result in substantial transformation, but that will depend on the nature of the product and complexity of operation. So it is not necessary that if you are doing CKD or SKD, if it is screwdriver technology, probably that may not be considered as substantial transformation in the US. But we have a product-specific tariff also, and wherever the product-specific tariff applied, reciprocal tariff is not applicable. So in a way, in respect of specific tariff, India is not hit hard because most of the countries will have the same tariff. So for example, if you are talking about a product where India is subject to 50% tariff, Vietnam is subject to 20% tariff, you are at a disadvantage of 30%. But let us take the case of steel. India is subject to 50% specific tariff, and so is Vietnam. So in effect, it is a level playing field, though of course it provides much more protection to the domestic industry. But at the same time, when we are talking about level playing field among the competing countries, we are having the same one. And there is a sequencing of product-specific tariff also. For example, automobile tariff will come at the top. So if you are exporting automobile to the US, whether automobile is of steel, whether it's of aluminum, it will not be at 50%, it will straightway have 25% duty. UK is the only exception where for UK product, they have 10% duty and they have provided exemption to Mexico and Canada under US-Mexico-Canada agreement also. If you are talking about the steel, only UK has the exemption where they will be subject to 25% duty, the rest will be subject to 50% duty. If a product made of steel is exported, there the duty will work in a different way. For example, if I'm exporting a machinery, let us say for $1 lakh from Vietnam, and assuming the steel content in the machinery is $20,000 and $20,000, 50% duty will be applicable. On balance, $80,000, then 20% duty will be applicable. So in a way, a Vietnamese export of steel machinery may pay just on 20%, 50% duty, which translate into 10,000, and on balance 80,000, he pays 20%, 16% duty, which will be 26,000. Whereas an Indian exporter of steel machinery has to pay 50% duty on both the sides. So he will be outpriced in the market by around 24,000, which means on 24% in this case of manufacturing and export of machinery into that. Recently on copper also, they have provided 50% duty, but for copper, UK has not been given any exemption because duty on the copper came subsequent to UK agreement with the US, and therefore this duty has not been covered. UK has also not pressed hard because they are not exporting copper to US at this point of time. There are a number of products where duty has been threatened, it has not been imposed, and that includes iPhone also, where a duty of 25% has been threatened on 23rd May, but it has not been imposed. On movies also, though of course it's a waste services if it is directly communicated, but if it is movie is transferred in the form of CD, and then he is threatening with 20% duty. Pharmaceutical is right now enjoying the exemption. There is no duty on pharmaceutical, but on pharmaceutical, he has threatened with 200% duty, and a US Commerce Department is investigating over pharmaceutical, and the report is expected by the last week of August. And if the report comes and some tariff is imposed on pharmaceutical, probably this will be having very serious implications for China. In number of other products also, even semiconductor, he has threatened with the tariff, and 25% tariff or higher has been prescribed by him. Now, The short point which I'm making is that any product which is under the specific tariff or which is under Annex 2, which is the list of the exempted product, there a kind of MFN tariff is applicable. That means all countries will have the same tariff. But when the product is not under either the specific tariff or not under the exempted list, reciprocal varying tariff will come into effect. And we are more worried about the varying reciprocal tariff because right now, India is among the highest tax bracket of 50% there, along with Brazil. Rest of the countries are having lesser tariff. Now let us look into the transitional arrangement. The 25% reciprocal tariff will come into effect after 7th of August. It has already come into effect from 8th of August. The only exception is that if goods were put on ship for a direct sale to the US by 7th of August and they are cleared in the US by 5th of October, the 25% reciprocal tariff will not apply. So all those who have shipped the goods by 7th of August, if they arrange that goods are cleared in the US by 5th of October, instead of 25%, 10% reference tariff will apply. The exemptions are steel, aluminum, automobile and auto parts, semi-finished copper and other copper derivatives, because here it is linked with the date of clearance and there is no the transitional arrangement made for these products. Now, if we are looking into 25% penal duty which has come on India on account of dealing with Russia in oil, that duty is coming into effect from 27th of August 2025. But if the goods are put on board for direct selling to the US by 27th of August and they are cleared in the US by 16th of September, 25% penal duty will not apply. And that's why a lot of exporters are still making some attempt. So if they can ship the goods, let us say by 15th of August with 25 days sailing time from the US, from Bombay, they may get this deadline and clear the goods before the deadline. But it's really more or less for the air shipment right now. And as applicable for 25% duty, this 25% penal duty is also not exempted on steel and aluminum, automobile and auto parts, semi-finished copper and intensive copper product, because in any case, they are subject to a specific tariff. Now let us look into impact, how the duties are going to impact US also, and then we talk about India also. If the objective of the US was that with the duties, they will be making the product much more product in the US and cost of the product will come down. But if you look into the recent number of inflation, inflation is moving up in the US. It has moved from 2.4% May to 2.7% in June. And there is an additional load of around $2,400 per family in 2025 as estimated by Goldman Sachs in its recent report. So a part of the cost of the products will have to be borne by the Americans. He thought that he will be propelling manufacturing, but if you look into the PMI, the recent number has come. PMI in July is only at 48%. And for last 5 months, PMI has contracted. In fact, Ford has paid $800 million as additional tariff in Q2. GM has paid $1.2 billion as additional tariff in Q2. There is talk about creation of the jobs. Jobs number in the initial month of May and June were pretty impressive. Together, they were 258,000, but the job numbers for July is just at 73,000. Because in some of the sector where it's protecting, he is definitely saving or creating the job, but probably in the downstream production, the hit is quite visible. On tariff collection, definitely he has been quite successful. The average tariff in US, which was 2.4% in December 2024, has gone as of 5th of August to 18.6%. And the US revenue collection for the month of June was around $28 billion, which is roughly 3 times the average monthly collection in the US. But as per the report of Goldman Sachs, 20% of the duty has only been absorbed by the foreign supplier, 40% has been absorbed by the US customer, and 40% by the US importer or retailer. In a way, 80% of the additional burden of tariff is being taken by the US citizens. And that's a worrying thing for the US government. Trade deficit, initially it has swelled because there has been quite front loading of the exports. It has gone as high as to $162 billion in March, but now it is coming down. As per the figure of June, it has come down to 78 billion. We have to see to what extent this kind of trend continues. And based on that trend, probably US will also be taking a call. Some of the indicators which are very positive for the US, one is on the stock exchange, where they have shown 10% growth since the levy of the reciprocal tariff. And even the US overall economy is right now clocking 3% growth as per the Q2 data, and that's quite impressive one for a country of the size of the US. Now, when we look into India's exports, our export to the US in the calendar year 2024 was $87.4 billion, which is roughly 18% of my total exports. 45% of our exports are not impacted because they are either under Section 234, where the specific tariff is applicable, or they are in Annex 2, where they are the exempted ones. Our worry is with regard to 55% of the export, and that translates into around $48 billion exports, where we have a very high reciprocal tariff of 50%, and my competitors are having tariff in the range of 15 to 20%. And this differential of 30 to 35% is something where industry is looking for support, industry is looking for proactive action by the government. Some of the option, of course, is lowering of the reciprocal tariff. We are hoping that probably US will be providing some kind of waiver on the import of Russian oil, giving 6 months time or 8 months time to countries like India to look into the alternative supply. We have seen that happening in 2019 also. When the sanctions were put on Iran, the global oil prices moved up. Unfortunately, with the muted demand, global oil prices have not moved up so far, but they are expected that with the restriction coming on Russia, they may touch $80 a barrel very soon. And if that happens, US will definitely be taking a call. We are also pinning our hope that since Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump are meeting in Alaska on 15th of August, probably we may see some positive coming out of it. BTA talks are going on. The US team is expected to be in India on 25th of August to enter into the 6th round of negotiation. Though, of course, India has made its stance very clear on agriculture and dairy. We have been given to understand that India is looking into providing some additional things for negotiation in lieu of agriculture and dairy. Diversification of export is an option, but to me, that is something which is not possible in the short term. In medium to long term, we can look for diversification of export from US to other countries. But let us also look into the fact that while US accounts for 18% of my exports, the next three countries, which include UAE, China, and Netherlands, they put together is not even 15%. And therefore, moving from US will not be so easy, though of course efforts should be made. And that's something which I will say is the silver lining out of these entire dark cloud, where you can look into moving to the other market in a very serious manner. Now, we have the discussion, and based on the discussion, we have captured some suggestions which we can be flagging to the government. But I think these are just a kind of broad solution which requires a little more fine-tuning also, and I will request members to come forward and provide their support. One is that we are looking into a scrip-based scheme for exports to the US. What should be the percentage of scrip? We are looking into whether it should be 20%, whether it should be 25%. So if you are exporting to the US, let us say goods worth $100, a scrip of $25 is given to you. That scrip is freely transferable. And anyone who purchases a strip of $25, share with you $24 or $24.75. That is support to you, and he will use the strip for payment of customs duty when he clears the goods. The other is the interest equalization scheme for all exporters to the US without any ceiling. We know that the ceiling was put into the interest equalization scheme, but we are saying that for export to the US, there should not be any ceiling, and it should be applicable to all exporters, whether they are large exporter, whether they are merchant exporter. Secondly, the need of the hour is to be visible into the market, not only in the US market, but also where you want to diversify. And therefore, there should be more marketing support to the industry. Government is contemplating to provide compliance-related cost support to the industry under the export promotion mission, and that's why we said that it should be quickly allowed to provide for that. We are also requesting the government to come with the early harvest with the EU, because EU is the second largest market for us. Our export to the EU is also could be to around $80 billion. And that's a market where some of the product which we are exporting to US can be diversified quickly. We also want FTA with Gulf Cooperation Council, New Zealand, Peru, Chile for the diversification, and with many more countries with which government is in touch at this point of time. We are also looking into providing freight reimbursement or logistics subsidy for export to the US, and freight cost to US has moved up. For the exporters, we are also looking into collateral-free lending on the lines of emergency credit lending guarantee scheme, which was rolled after the COVID for export to the US. The need of higher credit is it needs to be looked into, and for that, automatic enhancement of limit has been suggested. There is need to reduce the insurance premium by ECGC so that exporter can take a call. Liquidity problem may accentuate in times to come. We are also proposing for moratorium on loan payment, both principal and interest, for 1 more year. All this will not be possible for the central to chip in, and therefore we are also requesting the state to come with their share of support also, so that industry is in a position to absorb the shock of the reciprocal tariff. These are, in short, something which I want to discuss. I just want to flag that please bear in mind that if in any product the content of the US material is above 20%, on that portion you need not to put duty on that. For example, assuming you are importing steel from US, and the value of steel in your product is 40%, when you are exporting the machinery on 40% part, you will not pay the duty. Only on the balance 60% part, you will pay the duty. So that is, in short, the presentation which I want to make. And now the option is open. You can ask questions, you can give your suggestions also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that detailed presentation across sectors. I now request our participants to kindly raise their hands if they have a question. We request you to keep your question brief so that we can reach out to the maximum number of participants who may be having questions to ask during the session. I would request Indumati J. Miss Indumati J, kindly unmute yourself. In case you do not have a question, may I request Mr. Satish Kumar. Mr. Satish Kumar from Precall Limited, please. Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Please go.
Yeah, I think you're muted. Ma'am, sir, good morning. I'm Satish from Precall Limited. So we are automotive manufacturing company. We are exporting to US. I just want to understand when we could able to get the HSN based tariff for all the products.
So in fact, if you are looking into the specific one, you have to look into the original notification which came on 2nd of April that provide the HSN code of the product. By and large, all auto components are covered under that list. So kindly refer to the base notification of 2nd of April issued by the US TR. There they will provide HSN code wise detail of each product.
I could not able to get those details.
I will share with you. Please leave your email. Please leave your email. We will share.
Sure, sir. And I just want to understand what is the existing duty because we could not able to find out the duties, what we are currently doing.
No, in fact, now you will have 25% duty, which is specific duty on all auto components, plus MFN tariff, what was there. So assuming on the particular auto component, the MFN was 2.5%. Now you will pay 2.5 plus 25, 27.5%.
Oh, 2.5 plus 25 is adding,
I
right?
have given hypothetical example, assuming that MFN on the product is 2.5. So whatever be the MFN, you have to add 25% on that.
See, we are supplying products for the cars. We are supplying to the commercial vehicles as well as for the off-road vehicles. Whether the tariff will be different for the different
No,
sectors or
it's the same. It depends on what product you are supplying, nothing to do where it is being used.
okay, because if I'm supplying to agriculture industry, my product will cater over there. Whether the tariff will change or
No, where the product is, then becomes an agriculture parts.
okay.
Okay, there the tariff will change. It will not be considered an automotive part.
No, for example, you have an engine for the agriculture industry. Whether I'm supplying those parts to the agriculture field,
If
whether
some of the part to the agriculture is under the exempted list, which is an Annex 2, some of them will be subject to 50% tariff you are exporting from India. So
but
in the
for
base notification of 2nd of April, you can see the Annex 2 also where the detail of each product, where the duty is exempted is given.
okay,
Uh,
that's it.
Vetcore Enterprises, please kindly unmute yourself. Vetcore Enterprises.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Can you speak a little louder?
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, we are, company name is Vetcore Enterprises. We intend to sell in Amazon Global Selling to the US. Now we are facing this problem. How in Amazon Global Selling in e-commerce exports, how the invoice is going to be generated, sir? Whether my buyers, customers who is buying my products in US, they're going to pay, or I need to increase the price, sir?
The unique, after all, if you are supplying from India to Amazon Global Selling, keeping in their warehouse, when the goods are getting cleared from the warehouse, the duty will be charged. And if the product is from India, you will be charged at 50% duty because the de minimis of $800 is no longer available to us after 29th of August. So the duty has to be paid by you, and accordingly, you should build in your prices.
So if I set the product price is $100, means my customer will buy for $150. Am I right, sir?
No, the point is that if your product, when you have supplied the product to the Amazon warehouse, you supplied assuming at $100. On that, when the goods will be cleared on that, you will pay 50% duty. So it will become 150. Now you have to look into what way you collect 150.
Yeah, I could understand, sir. So can we expect it is going to be reduced, or is there any possibilities the tariff to be reduced in future?
I personally feel that he has come very hard on the de minimis of $800, which is generally used by the household for their own purpose, and probably relaxation may be possible. I'm not ruling it out, but as the things stands today, this facility is only available till 29th of August. After that, all goods will be subject to normal tariff. We have to see what happens. Plus, he has also prescribed a minimum value from the product depending on the reciprocal tariff on the country. So goods will be assessed at that value also.
For the Indian products, which
Will be
country?
highest one because India right now is having the highest duty. So it will be assessed also at the highest level.
Okay, sir. Actually, we are as an exporter, I'm having a stubborn mind. So
Yeah.
I am trying to diversify my products to the Amazon, some other country. So which one is suitable compared to the US? We have the CETA agreement with the UK, and is there any other country have a lesser tariff for the Indian
Please
product?
bear in mind the CETA with UK will operate only when the UK Parliament approves it. We are expecting a time of around 8 months to 12 months for that to happen. So right now it is not applicable, but in UK and most of the European countries, tariffs are little low. So and it depends on your product. Accordingly, you take a call where you want to move forward. But I think in the given situation, US will be a challenging path.
So I have one more little question. Which country have the more potential to buy our products compared to the US? It's
No,
like
no,
a
I think
China or a
please,
Indian country.
I won't be able to give you a straight jacket answer for that. Please provide the details of the product. We will share which are the major importing countries for the product. So
Uh,
you can send us a mail to us giving the HS code of the product, and accordingly we will be sharing it. All those who have talked about a specific tariff they want on the HS line, because some of the people have put that. At the Indian Trade Portal, we have updated the tariff as on 7th of August, and therefore for any product, if you want to know when you are exporting from India to US, what will be the tariff charged on such product in the US, you can go to the Indian Trade Portal and you can look into what would be the tariff for that.
sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
We request Manoj to kindly unmute yourself. Manoj, a request to the participants, kindly keep your question brief so that we can give others a chance. And please keep your questions to the topic of the session.
Good morning, Ajay Bhai. Manoj Agarwal from Kanpur Plasty Pack.
Morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Actually, slightly contrarian. I'm not concerned about the what's going to happen, and your proposition to submit to the government is very well documented. What are the reliefs? It's a euphoric exercise. 25% script. I don't think will ever happen, but that is what we would need. My concern is that the Indian exporting community. And I gel with Mr. Ravikant Kapoor, who was bold enough to spell it out. We need to take the government hands on for a monumental diplomatic failure. And I'm speaking it on a public platform because living in a euphoric world, ki 0.5% GDP effect hoga, kuch nahi hone wala hai. The entire garment industry, the leather industry, even my industry, and you know our industry very well, is going to be so severely affected. 40% of our product is exported to the USA. It cannot be manufactured in the US at all, even in 10 years. It will take time to shift. It will start shifting to Vietnam, Cambodia, Turkey. Turkey has been given such a favorable status as compared to India. So if these countries were able to drive a deal and we were not, questions have to be asked, sir. Why is the Indian industry suffering for something which the political and the diplomatic leadership was unable to do? Why are we being defensive about it? कि हमको आप रिलीफ दीजिए. जो काम आपको करना चाहिए था 4 महीने से वो आपने किया नहीं, और आज हमारी इंडस्ट्री को बैकफुट में डाल के खड़ा कर दिया है. That is all that I wanted to say, because otherwise what will happen will happen. If the tariffs don't change and the government doesn't change the stance, तो industry जो suffer करेगी, because these kind of reliefs, I am 100% convinced the government of India will never do. This government is anti-subsidy, strongly anti-subsidy. They have withdrawn subsidies over the last 10 years, and I strongly support that. Subsidy should not be the prop for the industry. But I think we are in a monumental mess. The exporting community, which is directly affected, the gem and jewelry industry, we are going to be in very, very serious trouble if something doesn't happen. And these are all, mind you, labor industries, apparels, our FIBCs, our gem and jewelry, our leather. This is all labor intensive. Employment will directly suffer in our country. And we cannot shift the product export from USA to somebody else. There's no consumption.
Fine, I
Africa
agree
doesn't
with you,
buy
sir.
these bags. They don't need those bags.
I agree with you, but still we should not lose hope. Let us
So
hope
that is
that
all. That
we
is
get.
all a bit of a frustrated statement, but I thought I'll express it to you.
So nice of you. We have noted it down, but let us we stay optimist on. Let us see that something may come out of it. Okay.
Arijit Mukherjee. Arijit Mukherjee, please unmute yourself. We'll move on to the next if he's not there. Guru. Guru, may please excuse us for using the names that are flashing against your computers.
Okay. Good morning, Ajay sir. Thank you so much for this presentation, beautiful presentation. See, we are basically an automotive, parts suppliers to the US predominantly, and current situation is little confusing about the general tariffs versus the product specific tariffs, whatever you presented. So it would be great if you could detail out what is going to be the the after this penal tariffs, whatever Trump has announced recently, what is going to be the the ultimatum for the auto parts suppliers to the US. If you could detail out a little bit with some clarity, that will help.
In fact, a product specific tariff will always prevail over the reciprocal tariff. And that's why if there is a product specific tariff on auto component, you should not be concerned with how much is the reciprocal tariff. So for you, the tariff is at 25%, though for many products, the tariff for export from India has now been put at 50%.
Okay. Which means it's 50%. That's what your answer?
No. For automotive component, it is 25%. You have a product specific tariff on auto component that will prevail over the reciprocal tariff. That's the principle in which the tariff operates into the US. Any specific tariff will prevail over a generic tariff like the reciprocal tariff for the rest of the world.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And you mentioned on the support for exports, the script-based scheme. So can you just throw more light on this particular scheme and how it works?
We are looking some way that government give us the fiscal support. Direct fiscal support looks little more challenging. What we are proposing that based on the export value, government gives us the 25% script. The script is an instrument which will enable the user to pay the duty from that. So you can sell the script in the market. And I think if you recall earlier, we have the focus market scheme where for certain countries, if we are exporting, government was providing a script, which was a freely transferable script. And the exporter was getting the premium out of it. And the user was getting the duty-free advantage when he is using against the imports.
Okay.
Sumit Goyal.
Thank you, sir.
Sumit Goyal. Sumit Goyal, please unmute yourself.
He is not able to do it.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Hetal Doshi, please. Hetal Doshi, kindly unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the presentation. It was really, and the efforts that FIEO is taking right now are really appreciated. I just had one single doubt regarding the goods that have left after 6th August. And if they reach before 4th October, what would be the applicable duty? Because after
when they left
after 6th August, so 7th August, they are in transit before 27th August.
No, point is there are two types of duty we are talking about. One is I will divide into one into reciprocal, the other one I will call it retainer. So
Right,
for
sir.
reciprocal tariff, if your goods were put on ship for direct selling
Right.
up to 7th of August,
Right.
okay, and it is cleared by 5th of October, you will be charged 10%. So
Okay.
if your goods have sailed by 7, if it is after 7, then
Right.
you will be charged 25% duty. Now comes the penalty. Penalty will apply only goods which are put on ship after 27th of August. And therefore, in your case, you will be charged 25% duty, but you will not be charged 25% penalty, provided your goods are cleared in the US by 16th of September.
Okay. Right. So if it is after 17, then I mean it will also
Then it will be 50%. Then it will be 50%.
got it, sir. Thank you. That's all. Thank you so much, sir.
Yogesh Panchal, please. Mr. Yogesh Panchal, please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Ajay ji. It was really very informative. I am the merchant exporters, and we are exporting the disposable plastic products like cutleries and trash bag, garbage bag. So, what will be the exact tariff on us from USA?
I think 50%, 50%. I have to see but I don't think your product is coming under Annex 2. So 50%. But what I would suggest to you that we are managing Indian Trade Portal. You go on the Indian Trade Portal, okay, on the landing page, there is a place where you can put your HS code. You can choose whether you want for export or import, choose exports, go to the list of the country, then pick US. And when you click on the US, it will give you how much the duty will be charged on your product with effect from 7th of August. It is updated and it will provide for each product.
So you are telling that I have to go to an Indian portal
Indian
and
Trade
type
Portal.
HS code.
You go to the Indian Trade Portal. On the landing page itself, you have the option to put either the description of the product or the HS code. Put the HS code, choose export site. It will take you to a new page where you have to choose the country, choose the US. And in the US, that will provide how much tariff will be charged. Since in US, tariff may be charged at 10 or 12 digit, you have to choose what exactly is the 10 and 12 digit.
Okay. Okay. And sir, one more thing, I was just thinking, just I want to just take a suggestion. If UK have only 10% tariff, then is it possible that we have a customer in UK also, so we can provide the product to UK and UK can sell the USA? So is
No, it will violation of rules of origin criteria. Please don't do that. Unless the goods are substantially manufactured in the US, substantial transformation takes place, it will not be considered goods of UK. It will still consider as goods of India.
but if we repack them?
No, in fact, I have told very clearly what is the substantial transformation because rules of origin in US are different than rules of origin which apply in India for non-preferential. There has to be transformation of the product and new product should come in.
Because why I'm telling this thing, we have us like some films and our production in our place, and we have done that JV contract that whatever product we will manufacture we will give to UK, and they had invested in our plant.
It
UK,
can go as Indian origin product. If you are transferring to UK customer, then still it will consider Indian origin, whether it's shipped from UK or from anywhere else, they will be charging 50% duty because these duty are with reference to the origin of goods. So if the origin of goods remains in India, whether it's shipped from UK or from somewhere else, it will charge 50% duty.
Sir,
Sir.
What he says, he is getting one operation being done in UK.
Yes, exactly.
The one that's why I'm saying how substantial is that operation? If it is packing, repacking, it is not. It is not considered substantial.
If it is doing the polishing and all this,
yes,
or cleaning,
exactly.
that's the operation.
No, but again, I said they are looking into value addition.
Exactly,
So
sir.
if in India you are doing 50% value addition and UK you are doing 10% value addition, it will not be considered as substantial transformation of the product.
What is the value addition in UK?
Generally, it's not UK. US is saying that substantial transformation as well as substantial value addition took place into that country. So if India, assuming 80% happens, in UK 10% happened, probably that will not be considered.
No,
Because
suppose
why
he
I am saying this thing,
does not export in his company's name. He has a different company there.
yes, exactly, and they are already exporting US. I am giving some products to them, and they are some doing a value additions, and they are already exporting some products in USA. Because they
Yogesh,
are
what
not-
is the value addition they are doing there?
the value addition that we makes like a parts disposable place. They what they do, they print on that their logos. They take us
That's
for
not
raw
value addition. That's not value addition. Yogesh, be practical enough. What you're trying to do is you're printing something on it that doesn't add value to the product. Value addition is some manufacturing that you'll have to do on that. And what Ajay is saying is the same thing, that there has to be a considerable value addition, then the origin can change.
Okay, so you are telling like we can send it as a raw material. They
Yeah.
can make a product and then they can send.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ajay, one question.
Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
What about the HS code change for transformation?
So HS code change it depends on which digit. If it is happening at 4 digit, probably it may. But again, assuming somebody is taking gray yarn, converting into dyed yarn, whether that will be considered as substantial manufacturing for rules of origin, it's still, because that's why I said that for product specific rules of origin also apply for non-preferential in the US. I was looking into, for yarn, they have a yarn forward rule. So in that it may not be covered. So I think that's why I'm saying that if a new product at all is coming out of it, it is really treated as substantial manufacturing, provided there is value addition also into the country. There will not be exact answer to any of the question, because for each product, one has to see in that light.
So when you have transformation and value addition,
Then it's
right,
like value addition, absolutely.
is either of them also applicable? I say I'm transforming, I don't have value addition, or I have value addition and no transformation.
So general principle is that the origin will be considered in the country where substantial value addition is happening. Because substantial transformation is happening in other country, logically substantial value addition should also happen. There may be few exceptions in some operation that I'm not ruling out, but that's the thumb rule I think one should apply.
Saisa, what is
Right,
the value addition in UK? I mean, is it 40% or 35%?
कोई नहीं. Sometimes they look into a kind of downward calculation method. Sometimes they look into other methods also. There is no strict. That's why I say, and more importantly, one has to look into product-specific rules of origin for non-preferential in the US. That's very important. For a lot of products, even I was looking for hand tools, they have a different rules of origin in the US.
Anand bhai, namaskar.
Mr. Sahil Sheikh, kindly unmute yourself. Sahil Sheikh.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Sahil from Vicar Bioscience Private Limited. We manufacture enzyme cleaners, and in November we have an exhibition. We are exhibiting in Las Vegas in North America. We have already paid, and everything has been done. So I just wanted to know that is there any subsidy or anything which we can get for the exhibition? As you know, we are seeing that. Not a lot of customers will convert because this will be the first time in our in the country for US as an exporter. So I was just wanted to understand like we can get any subsidies or not.
Right now, commerce subsidy is not in operation. They have to provide the calendar. They have to approve the calendar for the current year, which has not been done. One has to check with the Ministry of MSME, because Ministry of MSME also approves number of exhibition. So if it is within the calendar of Ministry of MSME, you can get the support from Ministry of MSME if you are a
It is not
manufacturer.
in MSME or it is not in FIEO. It is not anyway in like both the
Then
ministries.
you will not be getting support.
Okay, and I went to the Indian Trade Portal. I just saw that under the what we call this, under my HS code, the duty is showing as most favored nation tariff 3.7, and additional duty from 7th August is 25%. So it will be 25 plus 3.7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Mr. Ravi Patel. Mr. Ravi Patel, kindly unmute yourself.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is your suggestion for new exporter? In the sense, will trying in US or seriously focus on other markets for a
Sir,
new export?
as of now, if your product is coming under 50% tariff, it's better that you focus on other markets.
Okay.
If it is under the exempted category or if under the specific product, still you can look into. But keep understanding the market, because I'm hopeful that once we have some kind of agreement, the penal duty will go. Once we have the BTA, probably 25% duty may come to 15% or 10%. So the market over a period of time will open in the US for you also. But this is the time you focus on another market.
ऐसा
Yes, sir.
सर ये 15 अगस्त को एक गुड न्यूज आने वाली है, ये क्या है? एवरीबॉडी टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, क्या है ये?
No, with Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump, they are meeting in Alaska on 15th of August. And probably world is thinking that they will announce a ceasefire. So if that happens, the issue of financing of war by India through oil import will no longer be a concern for the US. That is what one is expecting, sir.
200 ग्राम खाओ तो 1 किलो बधी है।
उसी चले जाओ यार, करवा दो ये।
200-500 ग्राम बधी है।
Mr. Hetal, please unmute yourself.
Can we move on to the next question from from Balaji Amines Limited? Balaji.
Yeah.
नंदवानी अभी उखाड़ का आया था।
Am I audible?
जी.
Yes.
We are the manufacturer of specialty chemicals, and all our products falls under Chapter 29 and 30. So what tariff is applicable for us? We have some confusion because earlier on 2nd of April, most of our products have been exempted that time. So
No, the same. If the product were exempted on 2nd of April, the same list is continuing now also. So those products will continue to be exempted. Annex 2 list has not been changed even in the recent announcement. The same list is continuing. So if your product were exempted as on 2nd of April, they still will be an exempted one.
Mr. Khalid Khan, did you want to make any remark or comment before the previous speaker, just in case I cut you short?
No. Somebody was speaking in between,
Yeah,
so I said just
I
keep quiet.
thought
Yeah.
so.
If I want,
Okay.
I will come in between. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that. Thank you so
yeah.
much, Dipta. Thank you.
We move on to the next question from BMK. BMK, kindly unmute yourself, please.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Murali Krishna from Prime Progression. Basically, our company is into the merchant trade activity. Our export is to US almost 75% of our total turnover. So we are exporting mainly the engineering and automotive components. So we would like to understand, okay, we understand the duty and the other components laid out by the government, but on the representation, because right now there is no interest subsidy scheme given to any merchant trade. It is mainly for the manufacturers, which has been given, on the MSME sector. So how does that go well with the government? And also, can you please provide detail on the freight? You said there can be some kind of reimbursement which you are representing on the industry. And also, we are also looking at de-risking the business, which involves a lot of travels to some of the European countries and other countries. So will there be any kind of support from the government on that?
In fact, all these have been flagged by us as a solution. As I told you, we have yet to give them a final shape and push with the government. On the interest equalization scheme, you have rightly said, so far it is confined to manufacturer and MSME. But looking into the challenges in the US, we are pleading with the government to give it to all exporters, because cost of credit in the given situation when liquidity is a big issue is something which the industry is looking for. The other is, of course, you have rightly said, we need to be visible in the US market also, so that our long-term interests remain intact, and at the same time, we de-risk ourselves by focusing into the new market, for which market support should flow. It is part of the export promotion mission also, where 200 crore has been allocated for marketing support. We have to see how quickly government releases it. On the issue of freight subsidy, this is something which we are focusing on that. This is something which was discussed at the time of the Red Sea crisis also. Unfortunately, not much has come out of that, though of course at a time government has provided this kind of support to agriculture sector. But looking into the specific challenge of US, we are pushing. So these are the, in fact, wishful thinking of the industry, you can say. The government has yet to consider these.
Yes, sir. And my next question is on the duty percentage. Right now, we are shipping some materials on FOB basis to our US customer, and the customer would like to go on DDU basis. Maybe in the foregoing months, maybe right after 3 months, it is going to be materializing either on DDU, and even he is talking about DDP. So in the current crisis, how do you see that? Because we are basically after this increase in the tariff, that means it is going to cost us 25% from our hand, or whether should be, because it means again we have to increase the price and we have to negotiate with the customer.
If the customer wants to move from FOB to DDP or DDU, probably he is not willing to take the risk on the tariff. But I also
this
feel
was
that
negotiated almost 6 months back
Yeah.
before the tariff talks were there.
So that's true. That's why he is not sure on India whether tariff will remain same or it will change or it may be enhanced. That's why he wants that the entire risk should go to you. My advice to you will be to please watch the development closely for next 2 to 3 months. See whether we get a waiver from the penal duty of 25%, whether we are able to go for the BTA where we get a lesser duty. And once these firm up, probably you can take a call on the DD.
Sir, I totally feel it's a business call. It's purely a business call a company has to take. I mean, suggestions here will not be able to help him more.
Sir, I would like to comment at this point on the same subject. In fact, I have two suggestions to make. Normally, like most of the buyers are now asking all exporters to convert to DDP from CIF shipment. And marine industry has been doing DDP for quite some time now, almost about 20 years. This is high time, since USA is being so tough on us. If our individual council can give us some advisory not to convert to DDP and stick to CIF, so that the tariffs imposed by USA is basically borne by US customers. This is wishful thinking, but then this is the time to retaliate and give some advisory to our own exporters. This is number one. Number two, I would rather say that since we have a higher tariff, and the other countries which have got lower tariffs will now try to grab the market of USA, and we will be out of the USA market, and they might be foregoing some other market. So this is the time to focus on the other market. And if we can get some script support from the government to sell more in the other markets, this could be a booster to our business. Like I would say, it's focus favorable countries market.
Yes.
So your answer to your first question where you said of DDP, we were doing DDP for almost 15 years. 2 years ago, I mean, after Trump came in the first time, we changed everything to DAP, which is equal to delivered at place, where the duty element is on the buyer. Though he doesn't have to get involved in the transport, you are still giving transport to his door. That is a safer bet. Give them the reduction, the duty that you believe that you should be bearing or you have been agreed to bear, and let them look after the balance. Whether duty goes up or down, you will be much safer. That's what I would suggest. They may not like FOB only for the reason that then they get involved with the transport. So DAP is the route I would suggest for you, sir.
Yes, sir. My another thing is
Like the
it's
marine
just
industry, like we have been doing DDP for 20 years, and we are so used to it, and we are unable to convert to DAP or CIF. So some advisory from our councils like MPDA and other councils will help us negotiate better with our customers.
yes. Another couple of clarifications, sir, from my end. Can you please support us on the Annexure 2 list? Where would we get from the Annexure 2 list?
Annexure 2 list is part of the executive order issued on 2nd of April. Go to the USTR website, you will get the details of that.
Okay, sir. And yes, we'll do that. Thank you. And also, please request to share the presentations also.
Okay, fine.
Mr. Amit Gupta, please. Mr. Amit Gupta.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ajay, Velanji, Khaliji, and everyone. This is Amit Gupta. I'm speaking on behalf of Trident Limited. And we represent textiles, and textiles is employing directly 4.5 crores or more people, and indirectly 6 crores. So we're talking about 10 crores plus employment in India. So our major exports are 70% to US, and the other market that we can target is the EU. But with the EU, it is denominated by Pakistan and Turkey because they have a GSP benefit of 9.6%. So if we want to target this market, so we would like government to support us in some form of scripts or FMS, focus market scheme, so that we can offset this duty benefit to Pakistan and Turkey. So that is what my suggestion and representation is. If we can do that, Government of India can support us. We can offset a bigger portion of the EU market, which is the second largest market after US.
Sir, my
Should be talking
request to
about
you would be, please provide details to us. Government of India is contemplating to have an early harvest with the EU as early as by October or November, where they will be having a kind of free trade agreement on limited product to start with, and over a period of time, they will expand it. And the idea is that some of our labor intensive sectors of export may be pushed into the early harvest. So please send a mail to us. We will also see that the product where you are outpriced in the EU market because of the GSP concession to others may get included in the early harvest.
right. So, but that negotiation would take time. FTA is with EU is going on for a long time. We've been hearing this since ages, and maybe
No,
that
but
would
I
take
think the
time.
situation demands the early conclusion now. Earlier, we were not in much need, but now with the kind of challenges which is being faced in the US, there is a renewed thinking in the government of India to firm up something quickly with the EU. So I'm pretty hopeful they will have. That's why I'm saying it will not be full-fledged FTA. It may take little more time, but early harvest to start with 400, 500 product is something which is quite possible. But anyway, we will see. Please send a mail. We will see about some support also.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Ajayji, are you still hopeful that the meeting will take place on the 25th of August? The BTA meeting, trade talks?
Sir, let us see. I'm going step by step. I'm hoping that on 15th of August we get some good news. And probably that will soften Mr. Trump also. As of now, Ministry of Commerce is not having any official information that delegation is not coming. And that's why we are expecting them to come. Whether this will be the same level of delegation or a low level of delegation, I think we have to wait for that.
Anyway, that is something to look forward to.
That's it.
Mr.
Yes.
Sumit Goyal, can you try unmuting yourself? I think there was an issue with.
Yeah, I think this time worked.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Please
Mrs.
go.
Nalwani. Namaskar, Ajay ji. Sumit Goyal from Calcutta Pattern International.
Very
Just Yeah, good, sir. So just wanted to ask this section on steel and aluminum, this section 232 is applicable, where as per our understanding, we pay 50% on the metal content.
That's
and on
true.
the balance, we are paying reciprocal.
That's true.
So we just wanted to ask that when this 25% penalty that the other duty which comes because of the Russian oil, so we have to pay on top of the reciprocal or it is exempted? Because in the notification it said that section 232 is exempted from that.
So assuming you are sending a product for $100, on which the steel is, let us say, the steel is $40. So on $40 you will pay 50%.
Yeah.
And balance $60. If it is landing in the US or it is getting cleared in the US after 16th of September, you will pay 50% on that also. Have you shipped it or you want to ship now?
No, we are regularly shipping, so our containers will reach. So there are a lot of material and water. So that 25%, sorry.
So if you have shipped it before 7th of August, situation is different. If you have shipped it before 27th of August, the situation is different. And when you will clear it, that also will determine whether you. So assuming you have shipped it before 7th of August for a direct selling to the US, and they are getting cleared by, let us say, 5th of October, then on the balance, reciprocal tariff will be 10%.
Okay.
Okay. If you have shipped it by 27th of August and getting it cleared by 16th of September, penal tariff will not apply. 25% will not apply on.
Okay.
This is that. So look into where your case fits into.
So when everything get applicable, say by 5th of October, then this penal duty is also applicable and reciprocal is also applicable. Both are applicable.
That's why we are saying 50% on India.
Yeah, 50%.
Because both are applicable.
Both are. Okay. Thank you. Just wanted that clarification. Thank you.
Mr. Ambalavan Chinnaswamy, please kindly unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sir, we are from textiles industry. If we are importing raw material, cotton fiber from US, which may be around 25% of the garment value, how do we get some sort of
No,
duty?
if you are importing, let us say, an input from US, which is above 20%, that on that portion, that on 25%, you will not be paying duty. On balance 75% of the value, you will pay the reciprocal tax.
We have to prove the linkage or something like that?
You have to prove the linkage. You have to provide the details, how you have imported, provide them the invoice when you have imported, how you have used it. Those details has to be provided.
Okay. So only for the 75% of our product value, that duty will be applicable.
That's true.
Thank you, sir. That's what. Thank you.
Mr. Jaiprakash, kindly unmute yourself. Mr. Jaiprakash.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, FIEO, for this timely session. And my question, actually, we are exporters of frozen fish, and we are primarily exporting to US. But with the ongoing tariff issue, it is difficult to export to US. So we are looking for the other markets like United Kingdom. So for this, sir, I have some couple of questions. First, I need to know the penalty tariff which is applicable by end of this month. Does our product falls under the purview of it?
No, absolutely. All products, unless they are exempt product or they are under Section 232, 25 plus 25% penal tariff will be applicable. So even on marine product, it will be 50% now from 27th August.
Okay, sir. And as you told, tomorrow, as per the meeting of Trump and Putin, if the ceasefire happens, then what will be the tariff cut, sir? Expected tariff cut?
If ceasefire happens and Mr. Trump takes a call that India should be given more time, he will lift 25% penal tariff, then we will be subject to 25% tariff only.
So then reciprocal tariff is still applicable, right?
Reciprocal tariff is applicable. Reciprocal tariff of 10% in a way is on all the countries, and the countries which are listed, then they are subject to that tariff be given against those countries. So for India, if this penal tariff goes, we will subject to 25% reciprocal tariff. Your competitor in Vietnam will subject to 20% tariff. Your competitor in Ecuador will subject to 15% tariff.
Yes, sir. My next question is regarding Vietnam only. So we are planning to go with UK, but the major competitor Vietnam is enjoying a trade agreement, UKV agreement.
Yeah.
Can you please guide us what will be the tariff for Vietnam exports to UK?
No,
Actually,
Vietnam has an FTA with UK. So I'm pretty sure on fish also they will have zero duty. But the good thing is that all Indian export to UK will become zero on the day this agreement comes into operation. So India will also have zero duty on marine product in UK once this CETA becomes operational. So it's issue of just approval by the UK Parliament. Once they approve it, everything has been approved from the India side, and all the products which India is exporting to UK, with the only exception of automobile, will have zero duty on the day this agreement comes into operation.
So it will take some time, sir, some 8 to 12 months
It will
as
take
per
7, 8
your.
months. 7, 8 months time it will take.
Okay, so as of now, Vietnam is enjoying 0% duty to
Yes,
UK.
Vietnam has an FTA with the EU and UK pretty long back. 2 years, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Priyank Fatehpuria.
I can hear you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all FIEO people to help us out in this difficult times. My question maybe is the same, like if we are paying MFN, I'm a Priyank Fatehpuria from Natural Stone Exports from Rajasthan. So we pay, Ajay sir, we pay 3% MFN. So from now, after 27th, I'm saying that we pay 25% as the tariff. Plus on top of it, we pay 25% extra. So supposingly $100 is the product. So we pay 125 and 125 plus 25 or directly 50%.
Right now you're paying 3% MFN. Once this after 27%, the net impact of duty will be raised from 3% to 53% for you.
So net, so $100 was my product. So I'll pay $153.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. The second question, sir, is there any specific formula, like we don't pay duty on the ocean freight? So is there any specific formula which the US government or maybe the Indian government suggests to the exporters that you can keep that type of ocean freights?
The point is that what kind of ocean freight are, because valuation method in US is little different from the valuation method in India. In our case, we assess everything on the CIF.
Okay.
So
No, but in US,
yeah.
no, as of now in US, we don't pay duties or tariff to the ocean freight, whatever we mention on the invoice.
Yeah.
So supposingly all of our goods are going mainly to the West Coast, which has a ocean freight plus the door delivery charges to it.
Okay.
So my invoice may be of $20,000, for example. So is there any formula that I can bifurcate 10 plus 10, or is there any way?
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of the assessment system in the US. Let me have a look into that, then only I will be able to respond to you.
Maybe, sir, I can give you some answer. As far as your invoice is concerned, both for the Indian customs as well as for US customs, write your FOB cost, write your ocean freight, write your insurance, and also write your inland haulage, and also mention the Indian customs the amount of money that you're going to receive here. And when they're filling up the form 7501 of customs in the US, they will simply pick up the figure of FOB which your clearing agent will put in. It's a very simple thing. I've been following it for years. You will have no problem. But be sure about FOB, both for Indian customs and the US customs. That is all you need to do.
Done, sir. That's what we are doing. So last, but just a small one. Like my product is entirely. Hello.
It's frozen.
Hello. Yeah. I can hear you.
Please go ahead with your question.
So the last one, my products is entirely, it's just the natural stone which is available from the earth crust. So is there any in the future or something we can see that if it's not engineered product like automotive or maybe the leather or something, so do we have any relief?
So future either God or Mr. Trump
Yeah,
knows.
that is
Nobody else
true.
knows
That
the
is
future.
true, sir. So as of now, it is everything under 50%, sir. That's great, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Mitesh Chauhan, please go ahead with your question. Mitesh Chauhan.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Please
Good
go.
afternoon, sir. I am from Rishi FIBC Solutions Private Limited. Basically, we are manufacturer and exporter of FIBC back to, and we are exporting much quantum to USA. So my question is related to duty applicability in case of job work. So one scenario is there. Currently, we are buying base polymer from the Saudi, right? So instead, we buy the raw material from Saudi. Our US-based owned entity buy polymer from Saudi, directly sent to India for job work, and then upon the export of finished good to USA, what will be the duty at the time of import at USA?
I
So
don't think in that scenario that material which you are getting from US will be treated as US origin product, because after all it's a Saudi origin. So whether it is routed through US will not give you the benefit of that, because the benefit is confined to any US content into exports. And what you are getting in this case is basically Saudi content. So on the entire value, to the best of my knowledge, the entire value the duty has to be paid. The simple fact that goods have been routed through UK, the US will not give you the benefit of that. It applies to the US origin country.
okay. And one more concept in US is that first sell invoice concept.
That's true.
Uh,
Yes, you
so
have.
can you share the more details on this?
So I will
How
provide
this
the
works?
detail. They have a, that's good. But in most of the cases, the merchant exporter are not keen for that, because that probably reveals the identity of the manufacturer also. But we will share the details with you. We have done some work on that also recently. We'll share it. Please leave your email to us.
Sure, sir. Sure.
I request Mr. S. Santana Krishnan to kindly unmute yourself. Mr. S. Santana Krishnan. We'll move on to Indumati J. Indumati J, would you like to come up with your question, please?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, I have one doubt, sir. Actually, we are exporters of engineering components which is used for machine parts to USA. Our just I want one clarification. If the raw material we procured, which is used for machining here, India, it is origin of UK. So if we export this machined component to UK, after that customer, that means that UK party will send to USA, then the what will be the tariff for that item, and country of origin will comes for that material, sir? What is the country of origin will come for that? Sir?
Please just wait for a second. I think there's connectivity issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. What you are exporting from India to UK?
It is machine parts, sir.
Okay, and what process is being undertaken in UK?
UK, that means the packing only. As of now, we don't have
No.
any idea of that.
No, packing will not be considered as substantial manufacturing. Goods
Okay.
will be still treated as origin of India.
Only origin of it. Even the material is made of imported from UK. Also, it is treated as
No, point that if material is imported from UK, substantial transformation happen in India with value addition. Again, it becomes, that's what I'm saying. If it is material has come from UK, the major processing has happened in India, the major value addition happens in India, then the rules of origin will say it's an Indian product.
Okay. If any process is done in UK, then it will the change will be happen, sir? That
any process that means kind of substantial process.
okay.
Process doesn't mean that you unpack it, you brand it, or you go through some very nominal process that may not be considered. And there should be substantial value addition in that country also. If in India you are doing 80% value addition, 5% value addition is happening in UK with some operation, probably that will not be considered as substantial manufacturing.
Okay. Okay, because nowadays the US customs, what we are exporting from India to UK, nowadays the custom clearance persons are asking for the smelt certificate and all for the product. So in that, if we can see that the material is imported from country of origin is France or country of origin from UK. So same will be a
Please bear in mind that if you are talking about the India-UK FTA, we have for the steel melt pour and melt method. That means the steel should be for India both for melting purpose and pouring purpose. So entire process of manufacturing for steel has to be in India. We have burned our finger because this condition was not into Indo-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement. And a lot of other countries still have been rooted through that.
Okay.
So if you are talking in context of India's CETA, probably melt and pour has to be adhered by the steel manufacturer.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, one question: is there any place for an advance ruling on any of these matters where we are?
The US Department of Customs has that, and they have said that outer time limit is 90 days. So any exporter can avail. We in India are also providing the advance ruling. US is also providing. And if you have a doubt, you can get a ruling from the US Customs.
Is this a USTR we go to or the CBP? Anyway, we will check.
Mr. Arvind Goenka, please.
Namaskar, Ajay ji. Thank you for the detailed presentation.
Thank you, sir.
It was quite informative. Actually, you know, the plastics exporters are already at a disadvantage because the polymer prices in Vietnam, Thailand, of course, China, they are much lower as compared to India. And we are at a very high risk of losing our buyers in US. So I'm just assuming that the penal duties will go away, you know, because that's an embargo, you know, with that duties, we can't just export to US. But supposing that duties go, still the tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs are higher. It's at 25% from India and much lower from Thailand and Vietnam, etc. So, you know, I feel that one of the measures what the government could do is the freight subsidy, as you have already suggested. But, you know, the state governments are already giving a small freight subsidy of around 10 20,000 rupees per container. That amount should be substantially increased for exports to US. Otherwise, you know, we plastics exporters will lose our buyers immediately. And this I feel can be asked by.
So can you just give us some idea of how much it should be, whether it should be container wise or volume wise, what should be, we should be pushing for that, if you have some idea.
We are paying as in land haulage. And, you know, if we see that the value of a plastic goods container is around, say, $25,000. So there is a 6% differential duty between Vietnam and India. So 6% that works out to say around 1.5, 2 lakh of rupees. Okay. Out of that 2 lakh of rupees, if say whatever the government can give, say 75,000 lakh of rupees, whatever we can get, you know, we can at least retain our buyers. Some profit, you know, we could forego. Some the importer could, you know, forego if he wants to deal with India. So I feel that this can come much faster because a higher rod tab rate or something, you know, will take time. The government will take time to decide. But say in discussion with the state and the center, this could come little quicker. Second, as others have suggested about the MAI scheme, we should try to make it as liberal as possible so that we can go to new markets. Our MSME can go to new markets and we can tap new customers. This is my suggestion. I have one clarification again regarding the penal tariff and the reciprocal tariff, as everybody has asked. That supposing a container arrives in US after the 17th of September, but before 5th of October, will that 25% penal tariff be charged or it will not be charged?
25% penal tariff will be charged, but reciprocal tariff instead of 25 will be 10 in that case.
Yeah, okay, that's all. So the 25 will be charged if it reaches after 17 September.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Ashpreet Sahni, Mr. Ashpreet Sahni.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, DG sir, for the elaborative presentation. Thank you very much. So my question is more related to the strategy and the futuristic situation what we face with US. So we are basically the manufacturers of the trailer parts, and we are working most of the OEMs in US, sir. So it has been a inclination towards us for the last 4 years, or I would say since after the first term of Trump. So the present situation is absolutely an altered situation what we were facing, because the biggest competitor for us is China. So most of the companies were shifting their business to us, the OEMs, right? So my question to you is, sir, we know what we are facing as an exporter in India. So what is the perspective of the US importer if he is an OEM? So what does he see the future relations of India and China? And what do you think he's going to take decisions in this term? Because for OEs to change supply chain is not a one-day job. It takes at least 6 months to 1 year to get the components through. So what is their perspective, and what should they be planning? What is in their mind? So anything we can get, any sort of information or any opinion on that? Thank you, sir.
So my view is that probably we will get a waiver from 25% penal duty, and in times to come it will be withdrawn. The issue is that instead of 25%, whether after the BTA we have 15% duty or 10%. Looking into the various indication, I personally feel that we may get up to 15%. So probably we will have 5% disadvantage with best of the country, because 10% is the minimum reference rate, and industry has to absorb it. My worry is not just from the trade. There is a lot of investment which is on hold. When the tariff of 40% plus was imposed on Vietnam, a lot of companies were looking at an alternative to Vietnam. And probably India was on their radar, but once the high tariff has been imposed on India, all those investment is on hold. In fact, the so-called story of China plus one is also on hold. And that's why we are pursuing the government that just not look into the trade interest, even from the investment perspective, you have to bring duty down. And if the differential remains only up to 5%, with the best of the country, we will be able to manage, and probably with some of our Southeast Asian countries and South Asian countries, we will have the 5% advantage. From the US perspective, I think we have to look into India-US relationship. They are the strategic one. Let us not just be guided by what Mr. Trump says. Mr. Trump is there for roughly 3.5 years. We have to somehow manage with Mr. Trump, not at the cost of India-US relations.
हाँ ये कितने बजे चलेगा?
बस खत्म कर रहा सर, 10 minutes में भी. Dita quickly, some 4-5 लोग.
Mr. Gagan Prabhat Jain, we have just another 6 hands up. Mr. Gagan Prabhat Jain.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everybody.
Can you make your question quick, please, so that we can...
Yeah, I like to know is my customers sometimes ask me for better prices. Like sometimes China is cheaper, sometimes Vietnam is cheaper, or sometimes I don't know which country is offering cheaper price. But on the contrary, they have a very high structure, duty structures on those countries even. So can we have a place or a website where we can see how much of these HSN codes other countries are being taking the US is making duties on it, so that we can take a very good decision on that. Say, similarly, if says China is having 90% duty and contrary 50%, we have also scope for 40%, so we can have a negotiation for another 10% or another something like that.
Look, I think HSN will be only when you are looking to the reference duty or an exempted list. If the product is not into the exempted list, then across the board duty will be applicable. And therefore, you have to probably choose into the country, look into the list of the 69 countries which came with the 31st July promulgation by the US that provide how much tariff will be on each country. As of now, since China is not figuring in the list of 69 countries, the tariff on China is 10%. China has a penalty for fentanyl trade, and therefore 20% additional tariff is applicable. So on China right now it is 30%. For us it is 50%. But I personally feel that China may have to live with this kind of tariff because 10% in any case is the minimum. Fentanyl tariff till Mr. President is certified that China has taken adequate steps to control this trade may not go. For us, let us look into the best scenario where we get a waiver from penal district and reduce this duty also. So my short point to you is that if you are looking into an exempted category, you can look into the HSN. When it comes to the country specific, the comparison of the country's tariff needs to be looked in.
Okay. Can we have the list for that 69 countries?
We will provide that. That's part of the executive order, but anyway, we'll share with you. No issue in that.
So for how we get that?
Please leave your email address. We will provide on that email.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we have the question from Ravi's iPhone? Ravi, please. Mr. Ravi?
No.
Mr. Ravi, it reads as Ravi's iPhone.
Yeah, no, myself, Ravi Tiwari. अजय जी नमस्कार, रवि तिवारी बोल रहा हूँ.
हाँ बोलिए.
कैसे हैं आप?
सब बढ़िया.
सर एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो ट्रम्प जी ने किया उसके लिए हम इंडिया वाले तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते, लेकिन एज ए एक्सपोर्टर जो इमीडिएट इम्पैक्ट हमारे पे आ रहा है फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ पेमेंट एंड फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ फाइनेंस सस्टेनेबिलिटी, इसके लिए हमारी स्ट्रेटेजी क्या है सर?
नहीं किस तरह के विषय हमारे कुछ सजेशंस हैं. हमने जैसे आपकी लिक्विडिटी चैलेंज के लिए बोला कि ऑटोमेटिक एनहांसमेंट ऑफ लिमिट दिया जाए, कोलैटरल फ्री लेंडिंग की बात की है हमने, कॉस्ट ऑफ क्रेडिट कम करने के लिए इंटरेस्ट इक्वलाइजेशन किया है, आपके ऊपर लोन नाउ इसलिए मॉरेटोरियम फॉर लोन 1 ईयर मांगा है. आप बताइए और क्या चाहिए, वो हम आपसे डिस्कस करके चाहते हैं उसको फाइनल करना.
अजय जी जो आपने ये डिमांड की है इसकी अगर कॉपी मिल जाए तो जस्ट फॉर मेक अवरसेल्फ सेटिस्फाइड, तो वी नो दैट वी आर टॉकिंग विद द गवर्नमेंट.
ठीक है, हम शेयर कर देंगे सर.
थैंक यू वेरी मच.
ईमेल अपना छोड़ दीजिए, वी विल शेयर विद यू.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. थैंक्स.
Mr. Alok Bandmal, please.
Good afternoon, Sahai Saab.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
I am from Kalashrak Industries, Bhadoi, in carpet export business. And I just wanted to ask you, sir, because where is GATT at the moment? Because due to GATT, most of our incentives and benefits that were withdrawn, in last couple of years. And now with the current scenario, what USA is doing, do you think they are following the GATT rules? First off, my first...
They are violating it because they know that even if they are violating, a country at best can file a dispute. Even if they succeed in the dispute, it has to go to the appellate board. In the appellate board right now, there is no member. So your appeal will be pending for many years. And by that time, Mr. Trump tenure will lapse. So he's very clear. He's not playing by the WTO.
So that way, sir, we have been, I won't say that, use that word, but we have been befooled, because we followed last few years this GATT tariffs, and most of our incentives, they were withdrawn, which suffered our industry badly. And at the present scenario, we are almost helpless. And with that scenario, what we see now, what do you think? What should be India's stand towards GATT and WTO?
No, I don't think these are multilateral institutions. Probably, with the exception of Mr. Trump, it has delivered. So I'm expecting the institution will be in strong. Rest of the members should support WTO. The way EU has gone for one-sided deal shows the strength of US market, and Mr. Trump is encashing it very well. So I'm optimistic that multilateral institutions like WTO will play a role. These days are an exception, but probably in the given scenario, we should not be mindful of whether we are bringing a scheme which is not in line with the WTO, because by the time other country takes us to the WTO, the scheme will serve the purpose. That's why we are saying that I know that the scheme which we are proposing of the script is not WTO compatible, but if Mr. Trump can play with reciprocal tariff, we can also play with the scheme.
So why not, with immediate effect, all the incentives and benefits that were given to us be restored again without any further delay, just to make us survive?
Absolutely, I think it's an issue of priority. It's the issue of allocation of fund. We should not be worried about the WTO at this given point of time.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I think you also need to understand that WTO is still applicable between all the other countries. So if you start breaking the WTO rules, then it also affects your relationship with the UK, Europe, and every other country you deal with, excluding the US. Thank you.
Mr. Devendra, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sai and other representative and members of FIEO. This is a nice platform and had a good discussion. I am an exporter of Indian spices and foodstuffs. 80% of export is to US. Though we understand food is a must and things will continue, but with this increase in tariffs to the extent of up to 50%, the things have become very dicey and very much costlier for the consumers over there who are ultimately going to pay. And the prices are already high in the US market of Indian foods due to the COVID and the increase in freight cost and so many other various factors. So this is an additional burden. We are all sailing in the same boat. The entire Indian industry is facing a big challenge for those who are trading with USA because of the tariff. We all have to wait and watch for another couple of 1 or 2 weeks and see what is the real outcome. But for some reason or the other, if you are not able to break that ice, then it is a very big challenge for which we have all got together and discussing our platforms. So, and we all say that if US is a big market for us, it is not easy to find an alternate market. We are already there across the globe. But to move that much volume or lose that volume and then get it from other countries, it's not going to be that easy. It is easy to say, but difficult to get. So the only thing is we have to be very competitive. Now, what are the ways and means for us to be competitive? To approach other countries. So in that, it is the right time for the government to act and see that really what is being said, ease of doing business. In ease of doing business, I mean to say there should be a direct gating of containers and not being routed through parking lots and the time factor, the logistic cost involved, the charges, reducing the overall cost of exports. Second thing is to give on real-time incentives. From 1%, we have gone to 0.15%. From 0.15, we are paying 5 paisa as tax. We are left with 0.10 paisa. So all that money has created liquidity crunch. We are paying GST. So refund of IGST is taking 2 months' time. It is being paid, but for some minor error, another 1 month extension happens, refiling and all that. So that is why government should come up with a scheme in a very wholehearted manner. I am not asking for anything extra, but whatever they are giving should be given in real time. The moment Leo is done, immediately the funds must be transferred to the exporter's account. That will give liquidity, that will avoid the exporter going for loans and then give. It's my own money. They are giving me loan and then charging me interest for that because my money is stuck there. So this is a wrong way of doing it. All our scripts, why do we have to sell our 100 rupees script at 99 to an importer? The government should directly pay us and the importer pays his duty. So such type of practical thing that will save time, that will save the amount of paperwork, that will save the amount of man hour being utilized in unnecessary paperwork. Earlier, we were all manual doing. Now everything is online. Everything is digital. The government has all its data. They can easily extract in real time. So the simply what my whole thing is that there should be immense simplification of procedures for exports. Export should be treated as a green channel. People from the globe should come to India and trade that is so easy, so convenient, and that's what should be seen on ground. So all that practice, if the government, this is the right opportunity because of this reason, we have opened our
I entirely agree with you, sir. For me, these are the low-hanging fruits because That's the intention of the policy. Probably in the implementation, there are a lot of flaws, and this is the right time to plug everything. And we assure that the very fact that top management of FIEO is here shows their sensitivity and commitment. We'll take these forward, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Deep Chikhalia, please.
Aditi, please.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the information which you provided to us. Basically, here I want to discuss something regarding the manufacturing unit. Basically, sir, we have a unit for the ceramic tiles, HPL, SPC flooring, everything. From last 5 years, there are 13 or 14 factories are open in India with the SPC flooring or rigid LVT manufacturing unit, the luxury vinyl tiles. And they are totally dependent on the 90% of the US market. So basically, right now we have in a situation like we have to close down all the operations, immediate effect, and we have to hang the lock on our doors, something like this. And still, we are finding some other countries to export our material. But as you know, there are some other lower duty compared to the China and Vietnam in other countries also. Right now, we are not directly facing competition with the Chinese market, but our main competitor is the Vietnam because Chinese manufacturers are moving to the Vietnam with the huge manufacturing capacity. So this is not only for me like this medium industry company or something like that, but still the facing is like Wellspun, some Samaro, everyone are facing the same situations.
No, I
So
agree
what
with
should
you.
we have to do?
Absolutely, I agree with you. That's why we are hoping that very quickly we get rid of the penal duty. We finalize our BTA so that we come to a level which may be lesser than the duty which has been imposed on Vietnam or some of the competing countries. Let us look into whether we can bring the duty to 10% or at 15%. Probably looking into the trend, we should be happy even if we bring at 15% because at that duty also, you will be competitive vis-a-vis many of your competing countries. So I personally feel that looking into the indication, this seems to be a problem which is temporary, probably for 2 to 3 months time. But of course, every day is extremely important. It's costing the industry. Let us hope that something good will come out of it.
Yes, and sir, my second question is, see, this industry especially is totally rely on the import. Then we have to do here process, and then we have to send the goods to the export like a USA market. So basically, right now, also some other raw material suppliers who are importing the materials now they are starting the manufacturing. I also invested one new manufacturing facility who will support the raw material unit for the SPC industries. Now, as far as we already finished our moratorium period and already we are starting like the partial payment to the banks and everything. In this case, what should we have to do to the banking industry or something like that?
That's why we are proposing that a 1-year moratorium may be provided so that for 1 year you need not to pay principal and interest, and from next year you can do that. That is something which we are pursuing.
And even sir, we are delivering the goods like some big retail channels like a Home Depot, Mohawk, Show Industries, or MSI or something like that. When like past 1 month we are discussing with them, they are also hoping like if in India 10 to 15%, then it will be very favorable for the Indian markets and it will be easy to sell because no matter about Vietnam, they have 20 or 25. It will be doesn't matter. If India below 15, then it will be very good for the Indian exporters and they can easily to sell in the USA market. Because now, right now for USA, India is the biggest reliable source for their importing goods.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Point well noted. We'll pursue that. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Ritesh Patel. Mr. Ritesh Patel.
Hello. Ma'am, I am a merchant exporter for engineering goods. And I want to ask that what are the other markets and how do I find the buyer for other markets rather except the USA?
सर आप हमें प्रोडक्ट बताइए, हम आपको मार्केट बता देंगे, वो हमारे लिए इजी है. उसमें बायर इफ वी कैन हैव सम बायर इन आवर डेटाबेस वी विल शेयर विथ यू, बट उसमें वर्क आपको करना पड़ेगा. वी कैन डेफिनेटली टेल यू आपके प्रोडक्ट का मेजर इंपोर्टिंग कंट्री कौन है, वो हम आपसे क्विकली शेयर करते हैं.
So how do I receive the data? आप कैसे भेजोगे मुझे?
आप हमारा मेल पे प्लीज सेंड अस ए मेल वेयर यू प्रोवाइड द एचएस कोड ऑफ योर प्रोडक्ट जो आप एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हम उसकी मार्केट में आपसे शेयर कर लेंगे।
ईमेल आईडी सर?
आप मेरी मेल भेजें ajay@fio.org, मेरा नाम @fio.org।
ओके, श्योर सर। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Just two last questions, sir. One from Mr. Yogesh Panchal.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम। ये जितने लोगों का सब डिस्कशन था, अजय सर जी आपने सबको बोला हम मेल कर देंगे, तो क्या आप हमें भी ये चीज सारी मेल कर सकते हैं जो जो डिस्कशन सब आपको मेल करना?
जिसको मेल हो उसमें आप क्या कोई लाइब्रेरी बना रहे हैं, जिसके जो पॉइंट है उनको मैं मेल कर दूंगा।
नहीं, उसमें कुछ हमारे पॉइंट्स भी इंक्लूड है, हमने वो क्वेश्चंस पूछे नहीं क्योंकि बिकॉज ऑफ टाइम परमिट, क्योंकि अगर मैं ही सारा सवाल कर दूंगा तो इसमें
आप
कुछ
मेरे को मेल
relevant
कर दीजिए, आपकी जो भी क्वेश्चन है वी विल रिप्लाई बैक टू यू।
ओके सर, तो ये कौन से मेल आईडी पे करना है?
आप ajay@fio.org पे कर दीजिए,
अजय
या किसी भी
साई
कोलीग का अगर मेल है उस पे कर दीजिए, ajay.sai.fio.org। सब
ओके
वेबसाइट पे हम सबके मेल एड्रेस है, वेबसाइट पे चले जाइए, जिसको भी हम भेजना सबके मेल एड्रेस वेबसाइट पे हमारे हैं सबके।
नहीं, हमने भी हमारे ईमेल आईडी दे चुके हैं, इसीलिए मैं पूछ रहा था।
ठीक है।
Mr. Vishwanath, please. Mr. Vishwanath.
नमस्कार।
Hi sir, how are you?
अजय साहब नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार।
My two things which is pending sir, एक तो रोड टैप फॉर DFI है, वो इमीडिएटली उनको करवाना है क्योंकि that is one thing which is pending and this is the right time for the government to help us.
DFI रोड टैप में क्या है आपका इशू है?
DFI में रोड टैप मिलता नहीं है।
अच्छा, वो पॉलिसी इशू।
हाँ, पॉलिसी इशू, वो दिस इज द टाइम बिकॉज एडवांस लाइसेंस को मिल रहा है, इस टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है, वो अच्छी बात नहीं है। That has to be very quickly done. And second is that equalization, because अभी तो repo rate 5.5 पे आके खड़ा है, और equalization immediately उसको, it is a challenging thing if you want us to divert our products to other countries. At least the equalization should play a very major part because US का already there is a troublesome period. So these two things थोड़ा वॉर फुटिंग में आप मतलब लेकर करेंगे तो एटलीस्ट देयर विल बी अ ब्रीदर।
ठीक है सर, ठीक है।
ओके सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Sahil, can you make your question please quickly, Mr. Sahil?
यस हेलो सर।
यस सर।
अभी जैसे आप गवर्नमेंट से थोड़ा काम कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें मेरा एक पॉइंट था। अभी एक आपने सुना होगा ये सेल्फ सीलिंग परमिशन का।
हाँ जी।
तो थोड़ा इसका प्रोसेस इजी आप करा देंगे तो लाइक मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स को या डायरेक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को काफी बेनिफिट होएगा। अभी कोई इसका प्रोसीजर नहीं, महीना लग जाए 2 महीना लग जाए और कितने पैसे लगेगा वो भी नहीं पता। और उसमें क्या होता है कि आपका मुंद्रा पोर्ट पे या कहीं और पोर्ट पे वो कंटेनर ही नहीं लेते बफर में।
ठीक है,
सेल्फ
ठीक है।
सीलिंग वो कंटेनर लेंगे, इसमें सफर कौन करता है? एक्सपोर्टर। या तो आप प्रोसेस को ऑनलाइन करा दीजिए सेल्फ सीलिंग का, वो सब अंडर द टेबल वाला काम चलता है कि कितना मांग ले, वो किसी को कुछ नहीं पता। और बट वो होता भी नहीं काम, महीना लग जाए 2 महीना लग जाए।
ठीक है सर, ठीक, ओके सर।
ठीक है ना। और एक मैंने और पूछा था, इंडियन ट्रेड पोर्टल पे अभी हमारा HSN कोड जैसे ग्रेनाइट का है, उस पे शो कर रहा है कि आफ्टर 25% एप्लीकेबल है, तो आफ्टर 27th का भी डाटा अपलोड होएगा या अभी?
बिल्कुल होगा, वो भी डाटा अपलोड होगा।
थोड़ा ये सेल्फ सीलिंग का जरूर कीजिएगा, बहुत ज्यादा।
ठीक है सर, मैंने नोट कर लिया। ठीक है,
इसको थोड़ा प्रायोरिटी भी कीजिए, काफी टाइम से ये ऐसे ही चलता है इस इंडस्ट्री में।
ऑलराइट, थैंक यू।
We are, I think, done with the questions. I would like to thank DG for his time and detailed presentation. It's 2 hours now that he has been answering our queries. I would like to thank President Mr. Ravikant, Mr. S.C. Rellan and Vice President Mr. Ravikant Kapoor for their active participation, and also for the active participation of Mr. Khalid Khan, past Vice President of FIEO, and our regional chairman, Mr. Yogesh Gupta. Thank you to all the participants who came in for this session at a very short notice. Your questions are important to us. Please feel free to mail us any additional queries that you may have to any of our official email IDs mentioned in our website. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you.